The dream interrupted. The sun rose high over Willow Creek Estates, a gated community nestled in the northern suburbs of Atlanta, Georgia. The streets were pristine, the sidewalks clean enough to eat off of, and every lawn looked as if it had been sculpted by a team of master gardeners. Houses worth millions sat quietly behind wrought iron fences, and the warm breeze carried with it the faint, sweet scent of magnolias. For Thomas Grayson, Willow Creek was supposed to be the reward for a lifetime of service. After spending over 15 years as a police officer, through violent arrests, endless overtime shifts, and countless sleepless nights, this was his chance to enjoy the life he'd worked so hard for. His dream home stood tall and proud, a sprawling two-story modern farmhouse with wraparound porches, gleaming hardwood floors, and the centerpiece, a backyard paradise complete with a custom pool that shimmered like liquid sapphire under the Georgia sun. Thomas leaned back in his chair, sunglasses on, arms resting on the sides of his favorite recliner. Cicadas hummed their afternoon tune as he took in the peacefulness he had long craved. For the first time in years, his life was quiet. Until it wasn't. The blaring wail of sirens cut through the tranquility like a buzzsaw. Thomas shot upright, instincts honed from years on the force kicking in before his conscious mind had a chance to catch up. Two patrol cars came screeching to a halt right in front of his house. Dust puffed up from their tires as both vehicles skidded to a stop. Doors opened in unison, and two young officers stepped out, hands hovering just above their holstered sidearms. Thomas stood up, his stomach twisting in confusion. What in the world? The younger of the two officers adjusted his duty belt, his expression tight and professional as he called out. "Sir, we've received a report of a suspicious person trespassing in this pool area." Thomas blinked, dumbfounded. What? And then he saw it, the faint shifting of blinds in the house next door. A face peeked out from between the slats. Miranda Clarkson, his next-door neighbor. Her smug expression was unmistakable, lit up by the pale glow of her phone screen. Thomas could practically hear the satisfaction in her exhale as she watched everything unfold. He sighed. This wasn't the first time Miranda Clarkson had pulled a stunt like this, and he had a sinking feeling it wouldn't be the last. The first encounter. Thomas had moved into Willow Creek just 2 months earlier. It was supposed to be the fresh start he deserved. Instead, it came with an unexpected complication. His neighbor. Miranda Clarkson had that well-manicured suburban queen look. Platinum blonde hair in perfect waves, yoga pants that probably cost more than Thomas's mortgage payment, and an expression that suggested she had never once been told no. At first, he gave her the benefit of the doubt. She'd watched him move in from her second-story balcony like a hawk eyeing prey, but maybe she was just curious about her new neighbor. He had even waved at her once. She had ducked behind her curtain without acknowledging him. Odd. Then came the incident. Thomas had been at the hardware store picking up a few essentials when his phone buzzed. His security system had picked up motion in the backyard. Pulling up the live feed, his mouth went dry. There was Miranda. In his backyard. Wearing a sleek designer swimsuit and carrying a monogram beach towel, she strolled right through his side gate as if she owned the place. She laid out her things on one of his lounge chairs, dipped her feet into the pool, and began scrolling on her phone. By the time Thomas returned home, she was still there, legs lazily kicking in the water like she was on vacation. He approached slowly, forcing himself to breathe deeply. "Excuse me, ma'am," he said, stepping onto the patio. "Can I help you?" Miranda glanced up, startled. "Oh, you scared me," she said, hand fluttering to her chest. "I thought you were the new pool boy." Thomas blinked. "The what?" She stood, laughing lightly as she gathered her things. "The previous owners let me use the pool whenever I wanted. We had an understanding." Thomas's expression didn't change. "Well, I'm the new owner. And I'd appreciate it if you'd ask before coming onto my property." Miranda froze, then gave a tight little smile. You're the owner?" The disbelief in her tone made Thomas's jaw clench. "Yes, ma'am," he said evenly. "I am." Her gaze raked over him, skepticism plain in her eyes. "I know the real estate agent who handled this house," she said slowly. Funny, she didn't mention. Thomas's patience was wearing thin. "Mrs. Clarkson," he said, his voice steel beneath velvet, "please leave." She did. But as she passed him, she muttered, "We'll see about that." And Thomas knew that was not a warning. It was a promise. The escalation. Over the next few days, Thomas noticed Miranda's gaze more often. She watched him from her window. He could feel it. Then came the first brazen move. One morning, he caught sight of Miranda slipping through his back gate again. Only this time, she wasn't alone. She brought friends. For women, all equally dressed in designer swimwear, oversized sunglasses perched on their noses, and drinks in hand. Thomas stepped outside as one of the women did a cannonball into his pool, splashing water across the deck. Miranda reclined on a lounge chair, sipping from a glass. "What is going on?" Thomas barked. Miranda glanced at him lazily over her sunglasses. "Oh, lighten up, Thomas. We're just having some fun." "This is trespassing," he replied, voice flat and cold. One of her friends shifted nervously. "Miranda, you said he was okay with this." Miranda scoffed. "Relax, Emily. I know the owner." Thomas took a step closer. "I am the owner." She rolled her eyes. "Fine. We're leaving." But she didn't move. "You have 30 seconds, Thomas said, "before I call the police." The look on Miranda's face shifted, a flicker of doubt replacing her usual smugness. Her friends scrambled, gathering their belongings and hurrying through the gate. Miranda took her time. "My husband golfs with the captain at the precinct," she said, as if daring him to follow through on his threat. But Thomas wasn't bluffing. The harassment. What followed was weeks of subtle, persistent harassment. Anonymous complaints flooded the HOA. His lawn was too long, his fence unpainted, his backyard messy. All untrue. His morning paper vanished daily, stolen at dawn. His prize-winning roses were poisoned, wilting overnight. And always, there was Miranda, watching. The final straw came one Saturday afternoon. Thomas returned from the store, bags in hand, only to find Miranda hosting a book club in his backyard. 8 women lounged by the pool, wine glasses clinking. Miranda was leading a discussion as if she belonged there. "This is your last warning," Thomas said, voice tight. "You trespass again. I'm calling the police." Miranda smiled sweetly. "Go ahead. Let's see who they believe." And that's when Officers Reed and Sanchez arrived. Miranda's performance was instant. "Oh, thank goodness. Officers, he's harassing us. We've always had access to this pool." Officer Reed's expression didn't waver. "Ma'am, if Mr. Grayson says you're trespassing, you're trespassing." For the first time, Miranda was speechless. The last straw. The following morning, Thomas woke to find his pool transformed into a bubbling mess of thick, soapy foam. Dish detergent, gallons of it. Security footage confirmed what he already knew. Miranda had done it herself. Thomas took a breath. He wasn't angry. Not anymore. He was ready. The perfect plan. Years on the force had taught Thomas patience. And he'd learned long ago that the best way to win against people like Miranda Clarkson was to let them destroy themselves. So he set his trap. A non-toxic dye, invisible in water but reactive to chemicals found in expensive sunscreens, would tint anyone who swam in it an unmistakable neon green for days. He tested it. It worked. He installed new hidden cameras. He waited. Karma makes a splash. Saturday arrived. Miranda strutted through his gate with 6 of her friends. They drank champagne. They played music. They slathered on sunscreen. Miranda was the first in the pool. "The water's perfect," she called. And then the screaming started. Within minutes, each woman's skin turned bright green. Their luxury swimsuits, handbags, even jewelry stained. They scrambled from the water in horror. Miranda saw the blinking red light of Thomas's camera. And then the sprinklers turned on, pelting them with icy water. 6 green women fled through the neighborhood, screaming. The aftermath. Miranda's lies didn't save her. Her story about unsafe chemicals was instantly disproven when Thomas released the footage online. The video went viral. She lost her job. Her friends abandoned her. Her house sat unsold for months before she took a massive loss. And Thomas? He thrived. His pool became the community gathering spot, his barbecues legendary. Mounted beside the pool gate was a photo, a screenshot of Miranda's green-streaked retreat. When asked about it, Thomas simply said, "That's a reminder. Karma always comes home." And with that, he leaned back, sipped his lemonade, and enjoyed the peaceful silence he'd fought so hard to earn.